Hello, and welcome back to Jamaicans.com with your host, yours truly, Deborah. I am the nutritionist who have been sharing information. I actually took a break for a month, so if you have not seen me, just know that I wasn't away technically. I was just sort of working on some other projects and stuff like that. And it was actually my birthday a couple of days ago. So when you come on, wish me happy birthday. Yeah, God is good. I am still here, especially during this 2020 season. It's grateful. I'm so grateful to have life. And I'm just grateful to be here with you guys. So did you all miss me? For those of you who are here, I'm going to be looking in between. So I see a few of you on here. If you were here with me from my 8-week series where I talked about diabetes and hypertension and high blood pressure, I covered so many different things. And this time around, what I'm going to be doing is focusing, zeroing in on some things. Hi Satoko, thank you for the birthday wish. I'm going to be zeroing in on some specific nutrition topics, and tonight we're going to be talking about dairy and the truths about dairy. But before we do any of that, I want to get a few housekeeping things out of the way. First and foremost, of course, I would love to say huge thank you to Jamaicans.com, to the folks over there, you know who you are, for giving me this platform, for allowing me to come on here on Monday nights with you guys. Excited always to be here with you guys. As you could tell, I bring the energy, at least I try to bring the energy to hang out with you guys for this hour, or whether it might be less sometimes. But anyways, thank you, Jamaicans.com, for having me. I'm really happy to be here. Tony Kelly, I see a few of my regulars coming back. Noel Cunningham, Chef, what's up? Thank you. Yeah, man, good to be back. But yeah, guys, we're going to be talking about dairy. But before I even get into that, so I thank Jamaicans.com already. I want to introduce myself for those of you who do not know who I am. I am a nutritionist. I'm a specifically plant-based nutritionist. So I focus mostly on plant-based eating. I myself am a plant-based eater or vegan, however you want to call it, whole food plant-based. I serve in my community. That's my passion. I love to help folks sort of, get healthy basically. And I do that through nutrition literacy. And that is what I do here on this platform, is I share a lot of information based on nutrition. I do hold a master's degree in nutrition as well. And so, yeah, that's who I am. I also founded a company called My Temple Wellness. And My Temple Wellness is based on a scripture. God basically gave me the name and told me how to name my business. And it's based on the scripture that says, don't you know your body's a temple? So my goal is to remind you guys of that every time I'm here, remind you that your body's a temple, remind you that you should be caring for it. And I know you guys missed me nagging you over the last 4 weeks about what you should be eating, right? Who missed me? I'm going to go check out to see who's here, and you guys let me know if you missed me while I was gone. So Michelle from Florida, like the hairdo. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was my birthday, so I decided to fix myself up a little bit. I love braids though, so braids was working for me. I enjoyed that. Grace Purpose, what's up, lady? Good to have you. I already said hi to Chef Tony Kelly. Mr. Tony Kelly, thank you for coming on. From England, Dimitri Taylor, Satoko from Japan, another regular. Guys, welcome. I'm really happy to have you all here today. If I missed anybody, you missed me, Grace Purpose. I miss you too. Well, guess what? I'm back. You guys can't get rid of me. I'm going to be here slapping your hand every time you try to take that cookie or drink that milk or whatever it is. But I'm not going to go into the milk thing just yet. So yeah, guys, thank you for the birthday wishes. I appreciate all of you. Before I go into the milk thing, I want to big up Jamaica. So you have your rug. You have your rug. Wave it, wave it. So Independence Week this week. Another reason I'm wearing yellow, I decided I need to represent the colors and represent Jamaica. Jam down, big up all the massive them. So big up your guys self, all the Jamaican massive. And if you're not Jamaican, you can big up yourself still, right? It's okay. We are a proud people. And like Buju said, no matter where we go, everybody knows we are Jamaican, right? It's just something about us. I don't know what it is. I'm a proud Jamaican. I love to be Jamaican. And I just want to big you guys up today with my rag, Jamaican rag. All right. Enough of all of that. I hope I took care of all the housekeeping stuff already. Yeah, guys. All right. So tonight we're going to be talking about dairy. I have a few questions. So whenever you come in, as you as you come on in, I'm going to be asking a few questions. Yes, Miss Yvonne, big up Jamaica. Chicago, welcome. All right, guys. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I would love for you to let me know your answer. So if you are lactose intolerant, I am. Give me a thumbs up in the comment section, okay? So put a thumbs up if you're lactose intolerant, because we're going to be talking about dairy and a little bit about the intolerance of dairy. I'm going to be going into a little bit of science. Don't worry yourself. I'm not going to make it too complicated, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the biochemistry of what dairy does to our bodies, so you guys can sort of understand. My goal here tonight is to, when you walk away, you have a better understanding of dairy and you can make an educated decision about whether or not it's something you want to continue to consume. All right, so that's the goal of this conversation. Is we're going to talk about dairy, then after this you're going to know whether or not you should continue to drink it or not. Now, dairy comes in so many different things, right? So I'm waiting for the thumbs up to let me know if you guys are lactose. Gluten-free condensed milk is my weakness. I'm going to be talking about that a bit. I'm not, but I've given it up. Good job, Grace Purpose. Yes, you're vegan. I remember that. Yeah, guys. So if you're not lactose intolerant, then I guess in a sense, it's not that you don't have anything to worry about, but we're going to get into the concerns about the lactose that can be found in milk. So let me give you some statistics. You guys know I struggle with some words, right? Statistics is one of them. So let me give you some stats. Let's just say that. Let me give you some stats. So in the population, so worldwide population, right? The folks who are lactose intolerant, there's about 65% of the population that's actually lactose intolerant. Now, African Americans, we are about 74% of us are lactose intolerant. The most population that's mostly lactose intolerant are Asian Americans, Native Americans also at 73%, Hispanics at 53%, Caucasians at 33%, and like I said before, majority of the population, about 65% of the population, is lactose intolerant, right? And what that means is basically your body is not able to digest the lactose, right? So what happened is, why can't we digest lactose, right? So what happened is, lactose is made of, and this is a little bit of the science that I'm going to give you guys, right? So lactose is made up of two sugars, disaccharide, right? Don't worry about that word, that big word. Disaccharide, which is basically meaning two different sugars. And the two different sugar is galactose and glucose, right? So those are those two sugars that combine. Our bodies, majority of our bodies, for those people who are lactose intolerant, you're lacking this digestive enzyme that's called lactase. So if you don't have lactase in your body, you're not able to break down dairy, basically any type of dairy product. So what end up happening? If you have lactose intolerance, all sort of things can happen. So what are some of the things that happen to you guys if you happen to be lactose intolerant? Remember, guys, it's a conversation. I want to hear from you. Does something happen to you? For those of you who are lactose intolerant, does something happen after you consume dairy products? Okay, so let me share my story briefly, right? So before I switched over to becoming a whole food plant-based eater, I dibbled, even though I was lactose intolerant, I dibbled a little bit with lactose because or with dairy products because it tastes good. So every now and then, maybe once or so a year or twice a year, I would probably have a little bit of ice cream, not a lot, and sometimes a small piece of cheese or something like that with some butter and cheese or something, right? And the way it would do my stomach, I mean, my insides would hurt just tremendously. Obviously, in the end, you have to go to the bathroom and things like that. And for some folks, it do them even worse. The issue is that they're telling us, right? The dietary guidelines are basically telling us that we should consume dairy, right? Because of calcium, something I'm going to get into in a second, right? But a lot of us, our bodies, let me just go back. A lot of our bodies, we don't have the digestive enzymes in our stomach, in our digestive system to break down, right, the lactose, which I said before. All right. And so that is a concern right now. And a huge part of the population lack that digestive enzyme called lactase. So if you don't have that in your body, there's no way you're going to break it down. But one thing you should know, infants, they have lactase. And they have it for a period of time so that they can digest their mother's milk, right? They can digest their mother's milk, the breast milk, and even cows, which we're going to talk a little bit about cows in a minute. They have that digestive enzyme so they can digest the milk. As we grow older, that lactase we basically, we don't use it anymore. It's no longer available to us in our bodies, right? Because we don't need it. Technically, we don't need it, right? Because we're not supposed to be consuming dairy after we've basically grown up. All right, so that's one of the biggest points that I want to make this evening is if you're consuming dairy past a certain age, the reason why your body is not able to digest it is because you no longer have lactase. If you have it in the beginning when you're a kid, when you're an infant, it was put there on purpose. But like I said, the body is so amazing. It's there when you're young, and as you grow, it's no longer there, and therefore you have become intolerant. All right, so that's one of the things I want you guys to keep in mind, that you don't necessarily need cow's milk, but we're going to kind of go through this nice and slow. I don't want to rush through it because it's a lot of information, and I want to make sure that you're getting everything right. So I just read to you the numbers. I told you all the different percentages of folks who have this dairy intolerance. Now think about, I want to bring you guys back in the days, right? How long ago do you think we started drinking milk and consuming dairy products? So I would like to hear what you guys think. How long ago do you think we have been consuming dairy products? Does anybody want to take a guess at that question? How long ago did we start? When did we start drinking cow's milk? I'm waiting to see if anybody is going to give me any information on that. Are you guys gonna take any guesses? No? I'm gonna give it another second and then I'm gonna tell you guys. All right, nobody wanna guess? Hi, Jennifer Bennett. Thank you, Dimitri. Yes, welcome, guys. All right, so I'll tell you guys. So about 6,000 years ago is when we actually started drinking milk, and you're probably wondering what happened before that. So almost thousands and thousands of years before that. So what did humans do, right? Did we actually consume milk before that? No, we did not, right? So from way before we started drinking milk, 1 year old. Okay, yeah, from years ago, we weren't consuming milk 6,000 years ago. So the body didn't necessarily need it. And I'm getting somewhere, so just stay with me. I'm getting somewhere. I'm building on something here. All right, so 6,000 years ago, we did not consume milk. The body was fine. People function. Okay, prehistoric people were functioning and living and being strong, right? You see the photographs of the cavemen and how they were living. They were able to function. They were able to live from the land. They didn't necessarily need dairy. But now, and if you think about, let's bring it back to a little bit of Bible, right? Let's talk a little bit of Bible. When God put Adam and Eve on the earth, what happened? He put them in a garden, the Garden of Eden, right? Just gotta throw that in there for you guys. There was no mention of any milk or any of that stuff, right? It was just plants, right? He surrounded them with plants. So yeah, I wanted to mention that to you guys. But now what we are faced with is that the government has put in these dietary guidelines, and I wanted to take a look at the Jamaican dietary guidelines to see how they fare in comparison to what is being told to us here in America. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen them, but they're pretty, there's a lot of information that you can find online that represents that's in regards to the food based dietary guidelines from Jamaica. And they have a lot of great points. So the one I wanted to share is the one where it says, instead of whole or full cream milk or other dairy, they're recommending low fat or skim milk. Okay, so they're still recommending dairy. In America here, they're not necessarily not recommending dairy. They're recommending dairy with cheese. They're recommending us to have all these different things. They're telling us that we need 3 servings of milk per day. They're even giving free milk to the kids in school. When I was teaching, that's what it is. They would give the kids, the students, free milk, right? And so that is a big part of the problem. The government is in bed with, unfortunately, they are promoting dairy. So that's why we are being told to consume milk. And I'm going to keep going a little deeper Again, stay with me. We're going somewhere with this. So I want you to think about that factor. The government is telling us to have milk. I was talking to my mom recently, and she was telling me how sick she got from drinking milk. And I told her, hey mom, I thought we had this conversation that you're lactose intolerant and you're not really supposed to be having milk. And she said that, well, how else am I going to get my calcium? Right? And that's really the biggest misconception that people are thinking about. Like, how do you get your calcium? They promote it like that. How do you get your vitamin D? They promote milk to have vitamin D. How am I going to get even some potassium, which is one of the other things that they say are found in all these milk products. You're able to get all these great things that they're promoting to you. However, all the studies that's been done shows that dairy actually has an adverse effect on the bodies in multiple ways, right? Something that I'm going to be getting into in just a second, but I want to make sure that I'm covering this. So one of the reasons I also mentioned the dietary guidelines before is that the Physician Committee, which is a committee that informs the dietary guidelines in the United States, basically came to the conclusion that dairy should be removed from our, like how Jamaica have this one, you're telling us, yeah, consume dairy but have the low fat option. The dietary guidance for the United States, they basically recommended to take dairy out. And they recommended that because they said that it's been proven there's a high chance that dairy, and with science, there's always like a little gray area, that it causes cancers, it affects all these other diseases, autoimmune diseases that our population is struggling with. So they recommended that it be removed. In some countries, and I believe, for example, in this photograph, you don't see dairy, you see water. If you can see this is water here, right? They're not recommending necessarily with the My Plate like you see in America where they put a cup of milk or they put dairy on the side. They're recommending water instead. And that's a better option. Obviously, water is like life, right? Instead of having the dairy. Another point I want to make to us here is that when you think about a baby cow, right? Baby cows, they grow at a much faster rate than humans, right? So they need the protein, they need the fats, they need everything from their mothers. Just like a newborn baby need all these nutrients from their mother's breast milk, so does a cow, right? But the difference is the cow, they need to grow very, very fast. If you ever notice, I live on a farm, so we had cows, and I remember the calf, once the calf was born, the speed, the growth rate was so fast. It was like few months and the thing was huge, right? Now when it comes to humans, our babies start so small and the growth rate is really, really slow. So when you consume the dairy or the cow's milk from a cow, you're basically you're increasing your growth rate, yes, but you're not going to ever grow any taller. For example, as adults, you're never really going to actually grow any taller. But what's happening on the inside of your body, the cells, and that's where you have I have to just say the cancer word because I know a lot of people are scared of it, but that's when you have a lot of these cancers that are mutating in the body, right? Because you're having these growth hormones that are injected into the cows, right? You have a lot of these bacteria that the cow is, obviously there's so many environmental issues when it comes to how they're raising the cows, especially in America. Now, I was raised on a farm, so I remember how my brother and my dad, how they were taking care of the cows. They took really good care of the cows. We actually named the cows. One was named Victory, and the other one was named From Victory Unto Victory. Like, my dad's a pastor, so he named all the cows like they were like kind of biblical. Yeah, it was cool. So we took care of our cows. I had, like I said, it was a farm. I had pigs. My sisters were responsible for the chickens, and another one of my brother had goats and stuff like that. So we all were raised, a lot of us Jamaicans are raised in this type of environment. So we kind of understand, and we don't see this type of way in which they treat the cows. Now, the way in which they treat the cows in America, you don't want to know. If you ever watch one of those videos, you really would stop, drinking the milk. But again, I don't want to push you to that extreme just yet. I just want to give you the knowledge, and then you can make a decision, right? So the reasons why they say that we need milk, right, is to stimulate growth, which I said before, stimulate growth to help with immunity, right, and also for energy. So these are the three things that an infant would need. to help them to grow strong, to build up their immune system, and to have good energy, right? However, once you get past a certain age, like I said, past, let's say 1, which is about when most people start breastfeeding, what is the purpose of dairy? Do you guys have any ideas about that? Do you think that we need dairy? And it's a question I would love for you guys to answer. Do you think that we need dairy after a certain age? And I really would love for you guys to participate. There's a few of you guys on here tonight. Come on, guys, participate. Give me some feedback. What do you guys think? Do you really think you need dairy? Because they're telling us we need it for calcium, for our bones, for osteoporosis, right? Right. Okay, so Jennifer is saying calcium. All right, so let's talk about that. So the purpose of milk, which is what they've told us, we need it because of calcium. Did you know that you can get calcium from quite a few other things? And do you know how the cow gets their calcium? Do you know how the cows get their calcium? Drilling cow, okay, yep. Calcium, okay, a lot of people are saying for calcium. Okay, so we don't need dairy, good. I think a lot of you guys, okay, Grace Purpose, I've heard it said that we are the only species that drinks another animal's milk. Exactly, that was a point that I was going to be making. We are the only species, guys, who continues to drink, who drinks the milk of another species, of another mammal. Think about that. Nobody else is doing it. Look, I'm going to show you some of these large animals here that have grown very large. I'm going to show you them. Hopefully you can see clearly. Look at all these very large animals. Okay, these are all plant eaters. Elephants, they're big, they're huge. How do you think they get their nutrients? All of these animals that I'm showing you here, they eat grass, including cow. So the cow is getting the calcium from the earth, then we get it as a byproduct through them, through the milk. If you want calcium, you can get your calcium naturally from plants, right? The same way that the cow is getting it. And so that's where this conversation is basically headed. The protein that is found, because some people say you need it for protein to build your muscles and all of that stuff. The casein, which is a protein found in dairy, and I want you guys to Google all this stuff because that's a part of this is for you to also do your own research as well. The casein, and I see all your comments, I'm going to try to check them out in a second. The casein that is found in the milk products and the dairy products have been linked to cancers. They have been linked to prostate cancer. They have been linked to breast cancer. They have been linked to colon cancer. They have been linked also to ovarian cancer, right? Because again, the growth hormones, right? The growth hormones are doing all these things. The estrogen, if you think about what happens when a cow or any mammal is making or producing milk, right? Getting that lactation. How does that happen? You have to be pregnant in order for that to happen. So when a cow, imagine a cow is pregnant and they're milking that cow, all of that estrogen is basically going into the milk. It's coming out in the milk. And so that estrogen that comes in our body is also causing issues, right? When it comes to stuff like fibroids and high inflammation, which is found in the body as a result of drinking milk. There's a lot of people who have a lot of health issues because of milk, because of ice cream, because of cheese, because of all these delicious things. You know, pizza in New York, they're known for pizza, right? Mozzarella cheese is going on pizza. So you have to think about all of this when you think about the food you're putting in your mouth. The casein, like I said, is one of the biggest issues, and it's related to cancer. The mucus, if you notice you drink milk, you're coughing up a lot of mucus and phlegm, and it's highly acidic. If you guys know anything about alkaline and acidic food, it's highly acidic as well. So dairy foods are highly acidic, something you need to know. And also, they tell you that, milk has, or dairy products have vitamin D. You need vitamin D. But you guys remember, I already told you in my last series, you could get vitamin D from the sun. You can get it from mushrooms, right? Which really, get it from the sun. That's really the best way for you to get your vitamin D. So, but let me tell you what they did. The dairy industry, because they have a lot of money. They basically created a campaign and they basically started putting in their vitamin D into the milk and then start promoting it to you guys. oh yeah, you can't get it from the sun because it's winter, you can't get it from the sun for all these different reasons, just drink your milk. You're gonna have your vitamin D found in milk. Now, it's not naturally there, they put it there. Not sure you guys know about that truth, right? This is all the truths about dairy that you guys should know. And everything that I've said has been fact checked. I want you guys to fact check it as well. Jennifer's asking about taking calcium tablets. I don't recommend you taking calcium tablets, because any of these tablets, if you have seen any of my other shows, I talk about taking any type of these tablets, or I guess that's the best word for it right now because I can't think of the other word, vitamin or pills or any of these things, supplements. That's the word I'm looking for, supplements. They're putting in other things in there, right? They're using binding agents in those pills, in those supplements. So you don't want that in your body. But also remember, you can just eat these foods. I'm going to show you guys very shortly my almond milk recipe that I use. Okay, instead of using dairy, I'm going to show you an alternative that's very easy to make and it's sustainable. Okay, it's a plant-based milk. And I'll give you some other options as well if you don't want to have that. Even condensed milk. For the person who said, I forgot who it was, that said that they are hooked to condensed milk. And I understand, because condensed milk you put in your porridge, right? You make your oats porridge or your caramel porridge and you put in the condensed milk and it tastes nice. Guess what? There is a coconut condensed milk that you can get instead of using, and next time, I don't have it here with me because I went to the store. I use it to make my ice cream, my own homemade ice cream. I use my condensed milk. I'll show you guys how to do that, so you can recreate your own, some of the favorite dishes that you like. You can make them yourself, and also you can buy plant-based options. Obviously, the almond milk I'm going to show you how to make, you can buy it in the store if you like. Now, the risk of not switching from having dairy is greater than if you were to just say, you don't believe anything I say and you continue to have dairy milk. Yes, Grace Purpose, they do have coconut condensed milk. I bought it at Whole Foods, and I'm going to make sure I bring it for the next show so you guys can see what it looked like, the brand that I use. I don't endorse any brands, but I've only seen it with this one brand. But yeah, the problem, yeah, we're going to get into the coconut condensed milk because I see that's a new thing people never heard about. We're going to get into that, Charmaine, Leslie. Yeah, so you don't want to take a chance with your health. You don't want to risk any of these issues. Like I said before, all these different cancers, and the protein factor is a big thing here. The protein, the casein. Now, when I was in college, when I was finishing up my nutrition, when I was doing my nutrition degree, we did in a chemistry class, we were doing basically trying to separate the casein out of the milk, which is a protein. And if you see what it looks like, I mean, maybe one of these days I'll do it for you guys. It's awful. I mean, the thing is just disgusting, and that's what is in the body, and I can see why it's causing all these issues in the body. Now, for older people who are concerned with calcium and the osteoporosis issue, hear this. This is gonna knock your socks off. The studies that were done have actually shown that folks who drink dairy and who have milk and consume dairy products actually have a higher case, and I'll share that article, a higher case of osteoporosis and broken bones. So if they fall, they have more fracture and all of that stuff because they're drinking dairy, all right, because they're having dairy milk, dairy products rather. So, be careful of who you're listening to when you read these articles. And it's something I had to learn when I went back to study science, because if you guys don't know, I was a business major before. So when I got into science, I had to learn sort of like how to read articles. And you don't have to be a science major to learn how to read articles. You read the article with a perspective that this might not be true, so let me get different perspectives. And then also see who's sponsoring the article. That's one thing I want to tell you guys. See who's sponsoring the article. A lot of these articles are being sponsored by the USDA, which is basically agriculture, and they subsidize milk. They pay actually to make sure that you guys have milk. Why the government is not paying so you have fruits and vegetables, I really don't know. But they're paying to make sure you have that you have dairy, to make sure you have your meat and all of that stuff, but they're not paying so you can have more fruits and vegetables. But fruits and vegetables need more help, right? You would think that they would be the ones who would be getting the subsidies, who would be getting the money to help promote, plants, because it's been proven that plants are actually better for the body, right? So I want you guys to keep that in mind when you do your research, and I'll help you because I'm going to share the article in this post. So when you're done, share this on your page, share it with everybody you know, let them get and I can keep going on this next week if you guys think you want more information, because I realize I am sharing a lot of material, and it's some of it is a little bit science-based, but I want you to understand behind, why when someone say to you, be careful of drinking dairy, why are they telling you that, right? When every single nutrient that is found in dairy, you can find it in plants. Every single nutrient. There's nothing calcium. Almond milk have way more calcium than dairy. Way more. Okay? Kale, for example, have so much calcium in it. There's a long list of foods that have calcium. So when they tell you that, that's a lie. All right? Have you ever heard of anybody going to the hospital for protein deficiency, which is found in milk, or for I had to go to the hospital because I did too low upon protein? Nobody, right? Protein is not an issue, guys. So when people are saying I need more protein, I'm going to drink more milk, I'm going to eat more meat, and I want to bring meat too much into the conversation, that whole protein conversation is not it's not something you want to you don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe it. And I'm telling you that right now, that also a lot of nutritionists, I'm a nutritionist, there are other nutritionists that are promoting the dietary guidelines that the USDA put out. And they don't have, I don't want to speak poorly of anybody because we're all in this profession. But I want you to be aware that not all nutritionists is going to tell you that you should not drink dairy. There are some nutritionists that's going to tell you, yes, you need dairy for your bones, and that's why the plant-based approach is the better approach, in my opinion. There's some people that would disagree with me because multiple reasons, but I think one of the main reasons could be just discipline, and we love what we love, right? We love to eat certain things. We love ice cream. We love all these different foods, and it's very hard to let go of these foods, which I understand because I've had to do it myself, right? But I want to encourage you guys, you can get all the nutrients that you find in dairy products, you can find them in plants, okay? So, and I already told you, how does cow get their protein? How do they get their all the requirements that they need? They are eating, I showed you guys my photo before, for those of you who came on late, all these guys are plant eaters, okay? They're all plant eaters. Look how big they are. Look how strong they are. They absolutely do not need any of those things that they're promoting to you, right? The other thing to remember, saturated fats, right, is found in cow's milk, okay? So the saturated fats is found in cow's milk, and that's what you find in the butter, right? Because I want to point out the foods that you have to think about that has dairy. Butter, that's what you find in cheese, that's what you find in all the processed dairy foods, okay? Obviously also found in meat. And then when you think about breast milk of the human, right, a female, her breast milk has unsaturated fat, okay? Does not clog the arteries, unsaturated fat. However, the cow's milk has saturated fat, and that basically hardens the arteries and causes health issues, which you know already. Once you have hardened arteries, you're going to be dealing with heart condition and all these other things that we talked about on the last series, guys. So there's so many reasons for you to reconsider having dairy, okay? You do not want to have clogged arteries. You do not want to have all these antibodies in your body, right? Yeah, I didn't even go over all the environmental parts of this, but I want to just mention to you guys, I want to mention to you some of the other things that you can find in cow's milk, right? I think this is all I wanted to say in terms of that, because I want to show you guys how to do the milk. All right. Okay. So here's what else you can find in dairy products. So growth hormones, which I mentioned, which is estrogen, which causes issues, right? And you're getting excess because the mother is pregnant. She's lactated, and now so you're getting tons of estrogen. So if people have hormonal imbalances, that is because of the excess estrogen, right? That is found in the dairy. So keep that in mind. When you get rid of the dairy, and there's been so many people giving their testimony, when they get rid of the dairy in their diet, their bodies change. Acne. So for the teenagers, acne goes away. All of these problems that people struggle with end up leaving because of that. asthma, for all the young kids who struggle with asthma, right? My son actually had, I wouldn't say asthma, but he had issues with his breathing, and he was always, coughing up phlegm and all of that stuff. And when he started having the vegan diet with us here, he's always like, oh my gosh, like I can breathe so freely. So I see that with my own eyes. And even with, I won't get into this other story about a friend of mine. I'll leave that alone. But trust me, guys, there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of research that's been done to really prove that dairy is not something that you want to have. And I want to bring you the truth, because there's so many different versions of it, and it's out there to help you to continue to support the dairy industry, right? But you cannot continue to support them because you're giving your money to someone who's actually trying to kill you. I mean, that's just what it is. They're trying to kill you. They're trying to sell you these ideas, all these byproducts. And again, you don't even want to know what they do to the cows, how they treat the cows. When you have your dairy, you're getting pus. That's like a word that nobody likes. I already told you, saturated fats, antibiotics, chemicals that they're pumping up the cows for them to look so brolic, right? They look so big and strong, right? They're pumping them up with all sorts of stuff. There's salt also that you can find in milk. You get weight gain. Obviously, if you're having a lot of dairy, you're gonna have weight gain. I mentioned cancer, acne, cholesterol issues. I mean, the list goes on, guys. Like, it's really not something that you want to consume. I just want to make sure that I cover everything here with you guys. I don't want to leave any stone unturned, although again, like I said, I can go into this next week. There's a lot of plant-based ice cream. Häagen-Dazs. Thank you, Grace Purpose. So Grace Purpose is one of my followers and she's also vegan. She shares a lot of great information here too. So she just said that you can find some great options out here. Dimitri said truth. Solomon Steven, that's my brother. Welcome. Good to have you on. Lakeisha, hey girl, that's my girlfriend, my birthday twin. Bishop Ball, thank you for teaching us. Yes, of course, sir. I'm happy to do that. It's my utmost pleasure. And thanks for coming on. Charmaine, Leslie, I just want to stop and give you guys some love. Condensed milk, yes, I'm going to share with you guys next week which one you guys can try. But yeah, lots of information I've already given out. I'm going to stop there. So what can you do, guys? You can stop drinking dairy, right? You can try slowly, but I would say stop now, stop today. Okay, stop now, stop today. Take a couple of weeks without dairy, see how your body does, see how your children do without it. Now, I know it's very hard, so I want to speak to the parents for a second. I want you to be brave, okay? I want you to be brave. I want you to be strong. You can do this. You can have a lovely conversation with your children, and I'm telling you, you'll be surprised. Give them more credit, because I work with kids. I work with teenagers, and I work with younger kids as well, and I'm telling you, you have to give them more credit because hey Sharon, yes, I'm back, Medea. You have to give them more credit because they actually want to, kids, they want to do the right thing. They want to please you, and they also want to support you. So if you, let's say you're trying to do this thing and you're trying to, change your lifestyle and change your diet, you can explain that to them. I saw the coolest post the other day on Instagram with this young mother, and she said that she explained to her daughter that she was trying to lose weight. I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm gonna see if I could find it and share it on my Temple Wellness social media page. And the little girl was like, come on, mommy, you could do this, mommy. She was counting for her. She was cheering her on. She was running next to her. I mean, it was the cutest thing. She was cheering her on. This little, probably like about, I would give her like 7, 8 years old, running next to her mom like, mommy, you got this. You can't lose the weight, man. Like, she was so she's her biggest cheerleader. Right? So you do not know children unless you give them a shot. Give them a shot with that. All right? I know you're thinking about the pizza. You're thinking about all their favorite foods and stuff like that. But what you're giving them back is health. You're giving them back longevity. You're giving them back education, right? For them and for their generation, for what's to come after, right? So, guys, this is a big deal. I wanted this to be my first topic back. And I chose this topic because after the physician committee said this statement, I was like, oh, I was so happy because I know what dairy does, and I just want the world to know what dairy does. And so I said, I have to come out here and tell all my Jamaican friendem and non-Jamaican friendem, all of you guys watching, what dairy is doing to our system, what dairy is doing to our bodies. A lot of people who are turning up with cancer, if you know anybody who have it, please ask them to stop, to try to come off the dairy for a period of time, okay? And I'm not going to go too much into that, but plant-based diet has been proven to basically stop the effects of cancer, all right? But I'm not going to be making some random claims out here. I just want you guys to know that you can actually make some huge changes into your body and your biochemistry, all right, by getting off dairy, by making the switch, by making some changes. So I said, stop drinking dairy. That's one. Educate yourself. I already told you to be brave, especially when it comes to the kids. When inflammation goes up, disease goes up. So as inflammation in your body goes up, so does disease. As your environment, your body becomes acidic, so does disease, right? Disease also increase in the body, all right? You guys know all of this already. I'm just helping to remind you, all right? And alternatives. So alternatives to dairy, soy milk, which the dairy industry have done a very good job of trying to tell us that soy milk is no good. Now, there is, if you do the research, there is some study that basically gives some good information about what soy can do, but the way they have twisted the articles is to basically say it's not a good alternative. Soy is plants. Now, I'm not telling you to go and drink a whole bunch of soy, right? But it's a better alternative than dairy. Let's put it that way, all right? So soy milk, nut milks, which I'm going to show you, almond milk, how to make that this evening is very easy, very quick. Oat milk, rice milk, coconut milk, like we just said before, the condensed milk, coconut milk. And remember, you don't need all that protein, right? All the protein they're saying that you need, you don't actually need it. And I want you guys to reconnect with the food system. This is the last thing I'm going to say. Reconnect with the food system. Do your research. Find out how they are treating these cows. Find out how they get them pregnant. How long the time span of them being 9 months, they're pregnant, and what they do to them right after that. What do they do with the female cows after they've been born, right? They basically put them in rotation, get them to do the same thing that their mom is doing. They basically snatch them up from their mom within 48 hours. They're basically put out there to herd, to eat, and to feed, and then they get them pumped up, same story, to produce milk. The male, they don't really have as much use for them, so they take them after about 16 weeks, and what they do to them is they basically string them up when they're about 16 weeks young, and that's where you get veal. Okay, so that's where veal is coming from. So it's not really something that you want to support, you know. Now I know we don't talk too much about environmental concerns and all of that because we're really discussing food, but I also want you to reconnect to the food system and really understand the role of the role we're playing by supporting, you know, these industries. So many of us are ill, so many of us are unfortunately dying, and it's something that seems like it's not a big deal, is a big deal. Dairy is a big deal. Pay attention to the dairy in your diet. Pay attention to the stuff that you're consuming. There's so much more I could say. I hope that I've covered enough for you guys to have a better understanding of it. It's hard, I know, because there's a lot of stuff that we're used to that has it in there. Carrick Johnson says discipline. Yes, that's a big one. Sharon says, glad you're back. Grace, there's lots of plant-based. Okay, so we already said all that. All right, guys. So we're going to move over to the cooking portion, which is not really cooking today. I'm going to wash my hands, and then we're going to talk about this this milk that I'm going to be making for you guys today, almond milk. It's a quick recipe that I put together. My version, I want to call it the Jamaican version because you know what? I put some, what is this? I just had some porridge with condensed milk. I log on to Facebook to see you. The Lord is telling you something, K. Scott. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, watch the whole thing in its entirety. Guys, share it on your page. Please share it on your page for everybody to see it. If you want me to do a round 2, I can go even deeper. Again, I didn't want to go too much into the science because it gets a little bit more sciencey and then it gets boring. Probably wasn't as exciting as some of my other talks, but this information needed to go out there, right? So, but yeah, don't worry yourself, K. Scott's porridge. You can use, I told the folks before, there's going to be some condensed milk, coconut condensed milk. That is just as sweet. I use it to make my rum raisin and grape nut ice cream. I'll let you guys know what that is. All right, so we're going to have the camera come over on this side, and I'm gonna just go over quickly what I have here today for you guys. All right, so here we have some almonds. Maybe put it down just slightly, or hopefully you guys can see. So this is almonds. So what happened is I have some almonds from, you know, raw almonds here. All right, and this almond was basically I put it in a jar. You could put it in a what do you call these? In a pan, whatever you want to put it, and soak it overnight, or at least for 8 hours, right? So why are you doing that? When you take off the skin, what happened is, which these are all the Lord of mercy. What's my brain went just now. Yeah, when you take off the peel from the almond, basically, this is the almond peel, you are able to digest better the almond. All right, so that's why we do that. You're able to digest it better. You get more nutrients when you remove the skin from it. All right, so that's why we do that. We soak it, we take this off, and the almond in this form, it releases so much more nutrients for the body. All right, so basically what you do, bring the camera just a little bit closer for me. And so you basically just want to all the way down just some more so they can see directly here. All right, guys, so all I did, and I left a few for you guys to see, it's very easy. Once you take your almond, you just squeeze it like so, and it come off, right? You lose your skin. And I did this earlier to make it fast. So I just do that, squeeze it in between here, and the skin come off. Look, this is that easy, all right? And then I had it in a little bit of water, so I'm just gonna take the water off. Uh-oh, I lost one. That's fine. All right, so what you're gonna be needing, so now I don't need this anymore. I just wanted to show you guys what I did and how I did what I did with the basically the peel or the skin from the almond, whatever the right word is. All right, so you're basically going to be needing what's called like a cheesecloth for this, so you can strain your milk. But I sometimes use two, so I'll start with the strainer on the top and this on the bottom. All right, so I can catch it. All right, so you're basically just going to be blending. You're basically going to be blending your almonds. Okay, let me plug in my blender. So if you have a blender, that will work. Okay, or I really wouldn't use a food processor, although you could use a food processor. Today we're gonna just be using the blender. All right. Okay, so you're gonna be putting your almonds in your blender here. Okay, and what I do, because I want to have a little bit of sweetness, I put in, hang on a second, I use a couple of things, right? I use a couple of things, just up a little bit more. I use the coconut milk, or coconut water rather, and I also use some dates for sweetness. Okay, then what I do, I put in, and this is why I said it's kind of like a Jamaican version, I use some nutmeg, and I also use some cinnamon. All right, you can put, these are optional items, these two, cinnamon and nutmeg is optional, but I like the flavor it gives, especially if I'm making oats porridge or caramel porridge or something. It gives it a really nice flavor. All right, and then of course some vanilla, this one you need. All right, so what I do, I basically put my almonds in my blender. Come back a little bit closer again now. All right, so hopefully you guys can see everything. All right, so I'm gonna put about 2 cups of milk in here. This is coconut water, sorry, coconut water. So you just want to get it right above your almonds. Guys, you don't need this. If you have water, just use water, okay? I just happen to like the flavor from this, and this have electrolytes, so that's why I use this. All right, so you can feel free to use water if you like. All right, then I'm going to put about a teaspoon of cinnamon. Actually, not even a full teaspoon, a quarter of a teaspoon of cinnamon, because this is a little bit less than what I'm usually making. All right, and again, a few dashes of nutmeg. All right, grounded nutmeg. And that's again because I want my almond milk to have a lot of flavor in it. And that's the thing why I love making my own things from scratch, is because you get to be as creative as you like, and you put whatever you like in there, right? So with this, we're gonna put, this is vanilla extract. This is the one I always have, or at least try to have this one. Any one you have is fine. I'm gonna be putting in about a tablespoon of vanilla. And you guys know how we do it, right? We make it with tasty, and if it's not right, we fix it up. All right. So for a little sweetness now of your milk, I use dates. This is the kind of dates that I get. Hopefully you can see that, right? Any dates you have is perfectly fine. Make sure you get them pitted. I pitted 2 earlier. I'm gonna put a 3rd in there. So all you do, you take your date, right? And you just cut them if they have the pit in them. If you get the pitted one, you don't need to do this. And then there goes your pit. Okay, this one look like that. It dried up in the center. All right, that's fine. I'm gonna lose a piece. Let's not waste. I get that out. Matter of fact, let's leave that. So, okay, guys, we use 2.5 dates. That's fine. Okay, so now we are going to blend this up. So you soak the almonds from overnight, okay? And that releases some enzymes, which is good for digestion. All right, so I'm gonna blend real quick. Okay, I see someone said they have nut allergies, right? So if you have, I'm gonna put a little bit more because I can already see the consistency of this is super thick. So, and I want more, yeah, I want a lot more milk. So I'm gonna put a bit more of this in there. I'll give you guys exact after. All right, so that's good. So for alternatives to the person who said, and I forgot who said, Dimitri said that allergic to nuts, you can do oat milk, rice milk, coconut milk. Those are some other options that you can do instead of the and even soy milk. I said that one before. Soy milk you can do if you're allergic to nut milks. All right, let's keep going. All right, so that's good. That's exactly where I want it. So what I do at this point, I just taste it to make sure that the flavor is there that I like. It could be a little bit sweeter, but I'm not gonna mess with it. Because remember, I can always, if I'm doing my cereal, not cereal, but my oatmeal or porridge, I can put in, if I want the coconut condensed milk, if I really need to. All right, so this is the last step I'm going to show you guys, which involves the straining process. All right, so we'll need to come down on this just a little bit more. So guys, cheesecloth, okay, get that out of the way. Cheesecloth, okay, you can get this at most places that sell houseware things, right? So I'm going to start with this top strainer just because, so I could get out some of the lump. And what I do, I don't waste anything. Sometimes I even put some of this, what we call trash. Sometimes I put it and it's, you see it's coming out nicely. Hopefully you can see it's coming out nicely. Hold it down just a little bit, back it up and hold it down just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so this is basically what it is, guys. Okay. So all of this, sometimes you can use, I put like a spoon or 2 of it in my porridge, and it gives a nice flavor to it too. And you can even use this to make some type of dessert if you like almond dessert or something like that. And I can still see that this could use some more water, right? This could use some more water. let's pour the rest of this on here. This is how you make almond milk, guys. Okay? You can make your own if you so choose. Or, like I said, you can buy it in the store. So I bought the whole pack of almonds, which is about a pound. 1 pound bag. So I'm gonna juice this. When you guys go, I'm gonna juice this a little bit more. And I'm gonna use water next time because I can see that I can get some more out of this. Yeah, 1 pound, and it cost me $7.99. And this is not even half of the bag. What I use here is not even half of the bag. And I'm probably gonna get about one of those small jars. All right, so we'll leave it there just so I can show you guys. I'm gonna keep working on this later because I know there's more milk in this to get. Okay, so let's put this down. I'll let that sit there for a second. And remember, you need your jars, but you can put this in anything you have. So you grab your cheesecloth, and this is just to catch any little extraness that's in there. So now it's basically, you should usually get a lot more. Again, it's because I didn't put as much milk. And you can always squeeze it if you want. That's why I washed my hands earlier. You can always squeeze it. And your cheesecloth is always kept clean, away from dust. Okay? But I always wash mine right before I use it every time. Okay? So this is your almond milk. For those of you who are just coming on, we just made almond milk. If you guys want more on dairy, let me know. All right, so I'm gonna finish doing that again a little bit later. And so now we're done. This is your almond milk. You can store this in the fridge for several days. It's not as much as I would like, once again, because I didn't use as much of the milk like I usually do. Okay, and it wasn't a lot of almonds, but this is it. You can back it up a little bit so I can try a little bit on camera. Okay guys, so we just made almond milk. I'm gonna try it. I did taste a little bit before, but I tasted it with the other stuff in it. It's pure, it's clear, it's very good. Clear of all the trash things or whatever you call those. It's so, oh my gosh, you have to try it. You have to make it at least once in your life and try it just to see how good it tastes. It tastes really, really good. Something worth trying. Very healthy for you. Like I said before, almond milk have so much more calcium than cow's milk have. Guys, please make the switch. All right, if you need help with that, if you need someone to help you, let me know. I'll be happy to help you guys out. I'll share some more of the articles. And again, if you have nut allergy, remember soy, oat milk, rice milk, coconut milk, great options. All right, if you are allergic to nuts. All right. Yeah, so guys, I'm so happy you guys came out. Lakeisha, yummy, yes, it was really, really good. Jacqueline Parchment, cousin, what's up? Good to see you, lady. Charmaine, how about honey instead of dates? You can put honey in there. You can put honey in there if you prefer honey. But I like to go as plant as possible, like closest to a plant as possible. So the dates is just something about it. Has so much good flavor in it. The taste, the nutrients that are in the dates is going to be a lot better for you. I'm always going to give you the best, the top shelf things then, you understand? So honey is cool, nothing against honey still, but dates is always going to be better. You have to try it with the dates first, try it with the honey and see which one you prefer. All right. Steve, I don't know how to say his last name. Nice. All right, good. I'm glad you like that. What about the estrogen in soy? Again, controversial. I'm going to try to share the article about that. And again, remember guys, if you're just coming on, the reason why a lot of these articles are going to go against soy is because dairy have a lot of money and they create these articles. They get actual doctors to write these articles to say things that sometimes aren't true and to twist the truth, right? Because there is some truth to that statement about estrogen in soy, but you have to read it from a certain perspective. All right, so we can dive into that. Do you save the trash in the fridge for later and use it? Yes. How long do I keep it? Well, the trash, I would say 3 days max for the trash. But yeah, I would use it for my porridge. Like I put it in my porridge if I'm making like a nice dessert or something like that. I put that in there too. All right, so remember guys, share the video, and I'll be happy to have more information on this. I use almond butter and bottled water, then I blend it in my bullet. Yeah, again, same thing. It's up to you and what you like. That's Grace Purpose just said that. Yeah, you don't have to do exactly what I just did. That's my version of it, right? With pitted dates, exactly. Grace Purpose, beautiful, wonderful. Nikki Morgan, hey, that's my niece. Hi Nikki, I hope you're still on here. Jennifer Bennett, delicious it was. Great tips. Sunshine, thanks for you motivate me. Good, I'm so happy to hear that. Guys, I'm back, okay? Thanks, informative. I will certainly try. Yes, please do. Steve, again, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. You'd like to hear more about soy and tofu. Okay, I'm gonna put that on the list, guys. Okay, Jennifer says great information. All right, guys, so time is up. We gotta run. I'm happy to be back with you guys with the conversation we just had just now on about dairy. Please share it. Again, follow my Temple Wellness as well. Follow Jamaicans.com if you're not. And again, share. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next Monday, where we're gonna be back talking about more nutrition topics. All right. And the new segment is called Let's Talk Nutrition with Deborah. All right, guys. So my nut milk, I'm gonna juice it out some more because I can't waste all of that. All right, guys. Have a good night. Lovely to see you. Happy Independence. For those of you who came on late, happy Independence Week to Jamaica. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you all later. And thanks for the birthday wishes again for those of you who are wishing me happy birthday. Love you guys. Mwah. Until next time. See you guys next Monday, 6 o'clock.